I'm going to try and give this session one final attempt. Let's cross our fingers and send some prayers that the internet stays. These things happen in threes, right? So we'll see how this goes. If I've lost all of you, I will know here in a few seconds. So sorry for the technology interrupts today. It's ridiculous. We seem to be okay. Okay, I'm going to try this again. Okay. So without sounding too repetitive, where I left off was, today I have set up beside a table. And the reason I've done this is I want to encourage you, even though you may be dealing with chronic symptoms and sitting may feel a whole lot better, if you're able to stand and bear your weight, you are going to get more total body relief and you're going to get more exercise benefits just by association of bearing your weight on the plate. So an easy way to incorporate some symptom management, using it more frequently. And when you're selecting your plate, part of the reason I ask, what are you using it for, is if you are using it for symptom management and you are using it throughout the course of the day, it's not uncommon to want to move the plate around, have it closer to you, closer access during the day. Maybe it's in the office or the kitchen. So one of my favorite ways, especially if you're dealing with limited space, you're living in a small apartment, perhaps you're in a care facility and you're using a plate, is to have it by your kitchen island or the back of a couch without having to, one of the things that improves probably the fastest when you start standing on the machine is your balance and your stability, even within the course of one session. So the fear of thinking you need some big safety rails or a handle to hang onto the machine isn't as relevant once you kind of get over the hump of the fear and get started on it. And what you'll find here is you might need a little bit for fingertips and balance, but you don't necessarily need something. The goal is to bear your own weight, hang on for stability, but not for dear life. And sometimes if you have machines with handles, we have a tendency to hang on to the machine and get out of natural alignment. So the reason I want you to bear a bit more weight for your symptom management is yes, you're going to get more total body pain, swelling, all of that relief, but you're going to start improving bone strength. You're going to start improving core strength. Even though you're not doing crunches, just by standing on the machine, your core is forced to stabilize and your whole body is forced to keep you upright. It's going to give you more neurological boost because your feet are engaging with your brain saying, okay, we got to, go through this motion of keeping you stable on this plate, even if you're just standing on it. For chronic back issues, this is a common reason, probably the number one reason that people use a machine throughout the course of the day. To give some back relief, keep the knees just slightly bent, but just lean slightly forward. The more you kind of play with the angles of how you are standing on the machine, again, my feet are about hip width apart, my knees are slightly bent, and I'm at about a mid-speed range. So you're going to feel by going from here, which you feel primarily the movement in the hips and the legs, to leaning over, you're sending the vibration to the glutes, the low back. Another reason I love having a table is it just gives me something to lean. It's kind of like doing a standing cat-cow, if you will. Great way to get some support in relief in those hips, the low back, the spine, the neck, the shoulders. There's all kinds of reasons. Just standing on the plate and doing a simple exercise, depending on what feels good to you. Play with your angles, how tall you are between the shoulders and the torso, all these things and how you feel and experience the movement of the plate is a unique thing for everybody. And again, reminder, if at any time it feels too strong or too intense, it's not a speed thing. Bring the feet closer to the center, okay? If you are dealing with, restless leg, I had mentioned, you want to use this before you go to bed, something of that nature. Another reason to keep your sessions short for symptom management or preventive symptom management, sometimes everybody's a little different, but anything more than about 3-4 minutes, I get oxygenated, I get energized, and it's the last thing I want to do when I'm trying to fall asleep. So if you are dealing with restless leg, instead of just standing here, Same, 1 to 2 minutes, maybe about a half an hour before bed if you want to do a little bit longer. But I don't want you doing too much and feeling exhilarated and feeling, like the mind starts racing because you've gotten too much activity. So bend the knees just slightly. If the pain, the restless leg is primarily in the quads, do something to fire up the quads. If squatting is difficult for you and it's too much of a challenge due to stability, or maybe you're not stable enough or strong enough, try a lunge. Put one foot on the machine, bend with the back leg just slightly, and just let the front leg carry some of the weight. And of course, do both sides, okay? Another one that's really common for restless leg is the cramping in the calves. This is also very common for those of you that are dealing with spasticity, is the calves are tight. So tight that many of my little kids are walking around on their balls of their feet because they can't get that heel flat. So give yourself something to hang on to if you need stability. Knees are slightly bent, 1 foot at a time. Hook the ball of your foot off the edge of the plate. Lock this leg and push it down, and you're going to feel an amazing stretch. The heel is not in contact. There are exceptions to locking the legs. This is one of them. So we're just going to push the heel down, come back up, and do both sides. Stretch the other one. Okay, use the wall if that feels comfortable. All right. I don't recommend doing both feet at the same time, depending on your weight and the size of your plate. I can do this. I'm on the Rumflex Plus, which weighs about 46 pounds. But if I was on the Mini or the Waver, I'd tip it because my weight is all